What if everything you were taught about success was a lie? You were told, be kind, be fair, be empathetic, work hard, play by the rules. And you did. And somehow, the guy who stabs people in the back keeps getting promoted. The manipulator keeps climbing. The narcissist keeps winning. You ever stop to wonder? Maybe they're not doing it wrong. Maybe you are. In psychology, there's a concept called the Dark Triad. 3 personality traits that, on paper, sound like a diagnosis, but in practice, they're practically a resume. The first trait is narcissism. Not just vanity. Clinical narcissism means an inflated sense of self-importance, a deep craving for admiration, and a weaponized belief that you are simply better than everyone else. That the rules don't apply to you. The second is Machiavellianism, named after Niccolò Machiavelli, the 16th century political philosopher who wrote, essentially, a manual for strategic manipulation. Machiavellians are cold, patient. They charm you when it's useful. They discard you when it's not. They have no moral fixed point, only outcomes. The third is psychopathy. Reduced empathy, reduced fear, high impulsivity, high dominance. A psychopath doesn't not understand your emotions. They just don't care about them. And that difference is everything. Now here's what no one in a TED Talk will tell you. Research consistently shows that individuals who score higher on Dark Triad traits are overrepresented in positions of power. In corporate boardrooms, in politics, in finance. This isn't an accident. It's a feature. Let me tell you about a man named Al Dunlap. In the 1990s, Al Dunlap was one of the most celebrated CEOs in America. The business press loved him. Investors worshipped him. They called him Chainsaw Al. You want to know what he did to earn that nickname? He fired people, thousands of people. When Dunlap took over Scott Paper, he fired 11,000 employees, 35% of the workforce, in under 2 years. Then he sold the company and personally pocketed $100 million. Scott Paper's stock price skyrocketed. Wall Street didn't just accept this, they rewarded it. He was celebrated on the cover of business magazines. He wrote a book called Mean Business that became a bestseller. Because in the language of the market, the ability to make a cold, emotionless decision to destroy 11,000 families' livelihoods without losing a minute of sleep, that's called strong leadership. John Ronson, in his book The Psychopath Test, went and actually interviewed Al Dunlap, and what he found was chilling. Dunlap checked nearly every box on the hair psychopathy checklist. Grandiose self-worth, lack of remorse, shallow affect. And Ronson's conclusion wasn't just about Dunlap, it was about the system. The system doesn't just tolerate psychopathic behavior at the top, it selects for it. Psychopathy is dramatic. It makes good TV. But Machiavellianism is the one that'll actually affect your life. Tomorrow, in your office. Studies in organizational psychology have found that Machiavellian individuals, people skilled at strategic deception and manipulation, achieve higher career outcomes in political work environments. More promotions, more pay, more influence. Why? Because they understand something you were never taught. Most workplaces are not meritocracies. They are political systems. The Machiavellian plays a different game than you. While you're focused on doing good work, they're focused on who is watching the work. While you're concerned with being right, they're concerned with being perceived as right. While you're building skills, they're building alliances and identifying threats before those threats even know they're in a fight. The most dangerous thing about a Machiavellian at work isn't that they're mean. It's that they're charming. They make you feel seen, special, trusted. And then, at the exact moment it serves them, they use everything you told them in confidence as ammunition. So what do we do with this? Do we all become psychopaths? Do we start firing people and writing books about how ruthless we are? No. And here's where it gets interesting. Carl Jung, one of the founding fathers of modern psychology, had a concept he called the shadow. The shadow is the part of yourself you've repressed. The anger you don't allow yourself to feel. The ambition you've been taught is shameful. The competitive instinct you've been told to suppress. The capacity for aggression, for dominance, for strategic self-interest, buried under layers of social conditioning telling you to be nice. Jung's insight was this. The shadow doesn't disappear when you repress it. It just goes underground. And from underground, it shapes your behavior in ways you can't see and can't control. The person who has never integrated their shadow is easy prey. They're agreeable to a fault. They can't say no. They apologize when they shouldn't. They shrink. They defer. They mistake being used for being needed. And the person who knows their own darkness, who has made peace with their edges and chooses deliberately when to use them. They're magnetic. They're powerful. They're dangerous in the right way. Jung didn't say, become the shadow. He said, know it, own it, integrate it. The goal isn't to become Chainsaw Al. The goal is to never be caught off guard by one. Here's what I want you to walk away with. First, the world is not set up to reward pure goodness. That's not nihilism. That's just accurate. The sooner you stop being surprised when kind people lose and ruthless people win, the sooner you can start making strategic decisions with your eyes open. Second, you don't have to be a psychopath, but you need to understand how they operate, so you can recognize the game while it's being played on you. They're not winning because they're smarter. They're winning because you're playing a different game, and don't even know it. Third, integrate your shadow. Practically this means, learn to set boundaries without guilt. Learn to compete openly. Learn to say no. Learn that ambition isn't a character flaw. Learn that your anger, when used correctly, is information, not a problem. Fourth, develop what I'd call strategic warmth. Be genuinely kind when kindness builds real connection. But stop weaponizing your own goodness against yourself. Kindness that has no off switch isn't a virtue. It's a vulnerability. The game is being played whether you show up or not. The only question is, are you a player or are you a piece? If this landed in a way you weren't expecting, good. Comfort is where growth goes to die. Drop a comment with one situation where being too nice cost you something real. Let's talk about it. And if you're watching this thinking, wait, I recognize someone like this in my life right now. The next video covers exactly how you deal with a Dark Triad personality without becoming one yourself. See you there.